Hello, I am Deputy Chief Constable Paul Mills of Wiltshire Police and the National Policing Lead for Stalking and Harassment Offences. I'm really pleased to have this opportunity during these 16 days of action against gender violence to speak to you about the work that the police service is doing alongside our partners to continuously develop and professionalise our approach to both stalking and harassment offences. I've been leading on this area of work for the police service for the last 2.5 years, and during that time I've seen firsthand the life-changing impact that these crime types have on the lives of victims and their families. We know that 1 in 5 women and 1 in 10 men have experienced stalking in their lives in the UK. Half of domestic stalkers will act on threats that they have made, and that 40% of the victims of domestic homicides had been stalked by their perpetrator prior to their death. The incidence and reporting of these crime types is also rising year on year. Over 45,000 crimes of stalking were reported in 2020, compared to just over 6,000 in 2017. This equates to a 110% increase from 2019 to 2020. These rises are set against research that informs us that the incidence of stalking is still underreported, and academic evidence that found on average victims will only contact the police after they have experienced in the region of 100 stalking incidences. The impact on victims is significant. These crimes alter lives, behaviours and routines, affecting both physical and mental health. The ability to work and socialise can also be affected. This isolation creates feelings of self-doubt and often utter helplessness. Some victims will experience post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, financial concerns, or develop drug and alcohol dependency to try and cope. We also know that without early intervention, these incidences can also quickly escalate and sadly can lead to serious violence or homicide in the most extreme cases. In closing, I wanted to touch on the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on stalking offences. Working with key partners and charities that support stalking victims, the early evidence shows that lockdown restrictions have not reduced the risk. The National Stalking Helpline and Paladin reported over a 50% increase in the volume of referrals from March to June this year compared to the same period last year. Early indications show that factors such as loss of employment, working from home, or being furloughed has increased perpetrators' time and capacity to target victims. Victims have reported an increase in cyber abuse and online contact. Stalkers who may not have used technology in the past are now utilising digital methods to access information about their victims and then target them. Poor security awareness and the use of now readily available spyware technology means that perpetrators are able to cheaply, covertly monitor the movement of their victims. During the pandemic, we are working closely with other statutory agencies and specialist support organisations to ensure that stalking victims are aware of the risks and are responded to appropriately. It is critical that anyone affected is reassured that the support available to them has not changed. As a police service, we continue to take stalking extremely seriously, and we remain fully committed to doing all that we can to bring offenders to justice and safeguard victims. I urge anyone who believes that they may be subject to stalking or harassment to come forward at the earliest opportunity and report their concerns to police so we can work with them to protect them and stop the often life-changing impact of these crimes. Thank you for listening.